Joe! Joe の野郎。鬼姫が完全にぶっ潰しやがって。
Oh my god. Hello everyone, welcome to Joe Consumes Cinema. I'm your host, Rikishi's Ghost, and today we have Ashita no Joe, episode 62. So it was a very interesting episode last time, not what I thought they were going to do. I thought Joe was going to rise to the occasion, overcome, and just smash that guy with something right to the face. That didn't happen. He still very much has the hang-up, and, their tailor-made strategy to deal with a boxer who cannot throw to the skull, worked perfectly, unfortunately, and Dankpei had no other choice but to throw in the towel, preventing Joe from getting knocked out pretty brutally there, probably. And yeah, right now we're in a place where Joe is building back up again. He just got offered another fight. Same group of coaches from, the previous chairman, all that stuff. It's basically a setup, another tailor-made opponent who's going to fight this, anti-body blow style with the low guard and, taking it on the shoulder and elbow, all that. And it's just another setup to humiliate Joe, give him another defeat, kill his name so that the fans turn against him. Joe the Brawler, just not what he was anymore, shell of him former self. So, yeah, it's interesting, but, Joe can totally bounce back from this. And this new guy, I forget his name already, it starts with an H, but he's ranked number 1 in bantamweight, right behind the champion. So if Dankpei and Nishi just decide to tell Joe what the issue is, and then he finds a way to work through it, he can totally destroy this guy, come back, and then, defeat Tiger. Because honestly, Rikishi was a way tougher opponent than that guy. Like, even with Joe's flawed strategy, he still managed a knockdown in the first round. So, it can totally go Joe's way if they actually fight where he's, the Joe of old, can totally beat him 100%. So, yeah, we just need to get there. I think we're eventually going to get there. It's just, a question of how long do we drag this out? What process does Joe need to work through to finally, put this whole Rikishi's ghost issue to bed once and for all? I don't know. We're going to have to wait and find out. But, yeah, I'm eager to get to it, so let's just get right to it. Sando Baguni Kao Megake Tatake 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 Ashita wa kitto Ashita wa dochira. Rikiishi Toru was alive. That's a weird title. Harajima.
人間にはな、絶望的なピンチよりももっとたちの悪いピンチがある。ジョー、今度の試合はやめにしよう。
タイガーにだって俺は試合じゃ負けていなかったんだよ。おっさんが勝手にタオルを掘ったからじゃねえか。
力石君に負けたんだ。
この世にいないやつに俺がどうして負けるんだよ。
いや、力石君は生きている。おめえの体の中にな。
うっちゃ、それを言うたらあかん。
Please tell
お
him.
めえはもうテンプルを打てねえボクサーなんだぞ。
もう何もかもおしまいや。
本当かい。
力石を殺したというあまりの重さに、あまりのショックにもう二度とおめえには打てなくなってしまったのよ。つまりおめえの体の奥深くにまだ力石が生きてるということだよ。あのタイガー戦でおめえがいくら頑張ってテンプルを打とうとしても、おめえの腕は無意識のうちに縮こまって顔面を避けボディへ行ってしまう。
そんなことは思いもかけなかったぜ。
He knows it to be true.
ジョー、何にしてもその傷を一日も早く治すことだ。な、原島戦はよしにしようや。
俺はやる。俺はリングへ登るぜ。相手が力石だと分かった以上、なおのこと勝負をやめるわけにはいかねえ。
In a weird way, it kind of motivates him. We're getting right to the fight. Tiger telling him what's up.
ヘラヘラ笑いやがってこの野郎。
ちょ、やりんかい。おとなしい座ってるんや。
カネラ。
These are pitter-patter shots. There's no power there.
ここからジョーもう一度追い込んで。
ダメだよ。 いくらあがいたところでテンプルを撃つことはできねえんだ。
ジョーこの間の同じ会長スクル君も産んだ男やでジョーも
リシー、なんだその口の利き方は。
何ですか気に障ることでも言いましたか野梨会長
うせえ野梨とはなんだい野梨とは。
野梨映画野梨言うて何が悪いねんこの野梨
Jesus. Come on, man.
行け原島チャンスだラッシュ。くそ
Oh, shit! That was real. He's back. Oh, please get up so he can do it again. Please get up. I'm rooting for him to get up. I want to see him get beat up some more.
テンプルを撃ったんだ。
Ugh, stupid bell.
ならこっちの問題。奴のテンプルへもう一発ぶち込んで勝負をつけちまえ。聞いてんのかジョー。そうだジョー。そんなだぶち込め。右だ右。
I think we're back to the pitter-patter again. There we go. He just has to get really mad.
ジョー、どうしたジョー。
What the heck? Did he throw up? Throwing to the head made him physically ill.
なんだね、矢吹も最近だいぶ落ち目だね。
吐き気の方は大丈夫です。止まりました。
その吐き気なんですがね。
体にこれといった異常は発見できないし、脳波も調べてみたんですが、全くの正常です。
I'm not sure how that fight technically ended. Doctor stoppage with a Joe loss? I'm not sure.
大丈夫かいな、ジョー。えらい顔色が悪いがな。今夜ゆっくり寝かしてやりたいんだ。
お願い、矢吹君にボクシングやめさせてちょうだい。あのままほっとけば恥になってしまうわ。私そんな矢吹君見てられない。
分かってるよ、分かってるのりちゃん。大丈夫、悪いようにはしないよ。涙を拭いて。力石の亡霊さ、こいつがジョーの体につきまとってるんだ。自分の体に逆らって無理に顔面打ちをやったことがたたって、奴の体中が逆流を起こしやがる。救いようがねえ。ジョー。
ジョーもうやめていかん
これ以上やるってことはリングの上で力石の亡霊と心中するってことだぜ。それでもまだやるつもりなのか。
Oh yeah. Books. Okay, I took some time just to gather my thoughts. Episode 62. So we get the fight with Harajima, the number 1 ranked bantamweight. And he's getting instructions from Tiger throughout the fight. And, it's more of the same, unfortunately. Joe, now aware of, the mental hang-up he has about not being able to throw to the face. I knew right away after Joe learned about that and said, I'm fighting this guy anyway. And then we went immediately to the fight that we were in for something not too good. If they do a proper build-up, usually, much more successful for Joe. And they just didn't do that. Instead, Joe learned about the mental hang-up and then said, I don't care, I'm going to fight him anyway. And then we were right there to the fight. So fight was interesting. It goes pretty much very similar to the Tiger fight, using the exact same strategy, only this time, Joe actually gets mad enough to throw to the head, and he hurts his opponent, really, really good. Unfortunately, he beats the 10 count, gets back to his feet, fight starts again, And at this point, Dangpei and Nishi are having it out with one another. Like, they're arguing because Nishi is like, why are you so down on Joe? He's still got a chance. We just need to, have our faith, and then he'll pull through. Like, come on, don't give up on him. I really think Nishi was insulting him there just to get any kind of emotion out of him, because he seemed like a dead fish. He was just like, pretty much the entire first round or two. Now, once Joe did actually throw successfully to the head, that first shot, that actually gave Dangpei some hope. And then he's like, go out there, finish him, you got this. And then more, pitter-patter shots, don't have any steam on him. And Joe gets in trouble again. Again, he gets mad, and he hits him again to the temple, causes another down. The referee gets to like 6 or 7 in the 10 counts, and then Joe has a physical reaction to throwing that punch to the face, and he just throws up all over the ring, and he threw up blood apparently. Now, Joe's reaction to it is psychosomatic. They take him to the hospital. They can't find anything physically wrong with him. It's all in his head, and subconsciously he pulls back every time he tries to throw something to the head. But that time he just got so mad that he overrode his subconscious and actually did it, but then still his body didn't want him to do that, and still remembers how it felt when Joe actually landed that temple shot to Rikishi, and just doesn't want to feel that ever again. And that's why it made Joe sick, and he threw up from it. Now, Joe has yet another loss on his record, this time I guess doctor stoppage. And the narrative has very much changed against Joe here, where he was this up-and-coming prospect, a lot of hype behind him, Joe the Brawler, Joe the Wild Man, all that. And now it's Joe on a 2-fight losing streak. Couldn't beat the champion, had a horrible performance against him where he had to throw in the towel. Fought the number 1, another, bad performance. Honestly, that guy didn't do too well either. He got scared from Joe, and only because, he can't throw to the head, really, did he have any chance. Again, another opponent that Joe would easily beat if he was just all mentally there, and he just isn't. So, despite, everything that's happened, Joe gets taken back to the Dangpei Boxing Club, and Dangpei and Nishi are talking about how Joe is basically done as a fighter. Dangpei's talking about he's gonna, make Joe quit, and then Joe comes down, hears what they're talking about, and says, I'm not giving up, and just goes right back to training. There's got to be something that he can do that can get over this, Rikishi ghost thing that he's got going on in his head. And I think the thing that he has to do at this point is visit Rikishi's grave. It's the one thing he didn't do to finally settle the issue for good. If Rikishi is alive, as, Dangpei says, then the best thing to undo that would be to actually go and physically visit Rikishi's grave, to know that he's gone, and just get past all of it. I guess kind of forgive himself for, lack of a better way of saying it. But really, that's what it is. He didn't want to kill Rikishi. He has to be able to throw with mean intentions, otherwise he can't be a boxer. And it's these two conflicting things where, he kills someone he admires and doesn't want to have that feeling ever again. And he needs to be able to throw in such a way that he's basically trying to kill his opponent, even though the likelihood of that ever happening again is, slim to none. Another interesting episode, unfortunate episode, but, you got to have those lows in order to enjoy those highs, and I think Joe's going to get beyond this, find a way back, and I think the way back is to visit Rikishi's grave and put this whole issue to bed. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got, so as always, thanks for watching, and peace.